Let's learn the von Popiel Gambit. The von Popiel Gambit starts in the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit. After black accepts the pawn, we play knight c3, and black responds with knight f6, defending the pawn. And in this position, if instead of f3 we opt for bishop g5, we have arrived at the starting position of the von Popiel Gambit. As you can see in the data at the bottom right, there are a total of 6 different lines that you really need to learn if you're going to play the von Popiel Gambit. We'll start with the one that's the most common by far, which is putting more defense on this pawn with bishop f5. Here the move is queen e2, adding even more attack to the pawn. And should they play the most popular move and take the hanging pawn, we have the very interesting queen b5 check, attacking this weakness. Should they play bishop d7, we simply take. Should they attempt to trap our knight like 83% of players do with bishop c6. We have a very stylish move here which is reminiscent of the England Gambit. We have bishop b5 pinning the bishop to the king. That is bishop f5, which 30% of players choose. Moving on, we have knight c6, which 70% of players choose to play. Here simply push, kick the knight. Most common by far is knight b4. If they play knight b4, what you need to remember is first we take and then we play a3. The idea is that now the knight is misplaced and it has to go back to a6. Going a little deeper into this line, we have the very interesting queen d4. And our basic plan with this setup is to get castled long, recapture the pawn, either capture the knight with the bishop and ruin their pawn chain, or get it developed, develop our knight, and just sort of attack. This position is very sharp for black. For example, the most common move is f5, which more or less loses by force. We have bishop b5 check. If they try to block with c6, we simply take, sacrificing the queen. If they take the queen, we simply capture again with discovered check and make a new queen. Most people will play bishop d7, and after queen e5 check, and again this is all very forcing, if they block with bishop we capture the pawn. Most people play queen e7, and after captures we've lured the king out and we are simply better. We're going to castle long and then recapture the pawn and finish development. We're 12 moves in and we are already completely winning. Our opponent hasn't really done anything wrong. It just goes to show how sharp this opening can be. Moving on, 12% of players will go for h6. The people that play h6 tend to be very boring players. I recommend simply taking in the spirit of the Trempowski. They recapture, we grab our pawn back. After queen e7, we have queen e2, so we're perfectly fine. More commonly, we'll see bishop f5. Knight g3 here is a really good move, attacking the bishop. But what's better is bishop d3, setting up a trap, because if you capture this pawn right here with your queen, which 27% of players do, you simply lose the game. Next we have e6, which about 11% of players opt for against the von Popiel Gambit. I'd like to start off here by saying that the von Popiel Gambit, the Richter-Veresov attack, and the Bern variation of the classical French are all sort of sister openings and tend to transpose back and forth because you have this knight on c3 and this bishop on g5. Point being, here I think by far the best move is just transposing into the Bern variation of the French defense. If you're unfamiliar with this line, I can show you a very comfy setup to go for where you pretty much always get a nice attack. Most people opt for bishop e7. Start by capturing with bishop, they'll capture back, and we play c3. Remember, we're playing against the French now, and French's biggest weakness is this French bishop. You don't really find yourself yanketoing your light bishop in the French. But keep in mind the person you're playing probably doesn't play the French normally and just got transposed into it. Regardless, either this move or next move, a lot of people will opt for b6, just realize we already have a trap set up with queen f3. This forces c6 and makes it very uncomfortable to play for our opponents. I recommend starting with bishop d3. And again, by far the most common move simply falls into queen f3. Regardless of what your opponent plays though, for the most part your general plan is going to be attacking the king side, pawn storming, castling queen side, and finishing development. Next up is bishop g4 attacking our queen. 11% of players go for this. Instead of hanging your queen like these idiots, I really like bishop e2 here. Because if they take, which almost everyone does, we can recapture with queen and get a position that's very reminiscent to what we play against bishop f5 if you remember. Most people take the quote-unquote free pawn on d4, against which, just like in the bishop f5 line, we have queen b5 check, attacking b7, and after bishop bd7 we have rook d1. If you're paying attention to the engine, this is all probably very confusing, but that's because the engine finds a way to hold a draw with a6 and queen a7. Finally, what happens if your opponent is one of the 10% of players that opt for knight bd7? Here I recommend gambiting your f-pawn. Following the most common moves, should they take, we recapture with knight. If they try to kick our bishop, we just come back into our little hidey hole on f2. We want to move our bishop to d3 as soon as possible, get our queen forward and get castled queenside. Most of the time your opponent in this line will castle kingside, so we're just going to be pawn storming the kingside, just like in the other line. And that's the Von Popiel Gambit in a nutshell. Let me know what other gambits I should cover in the comments. I'm a small channel, so engaging with the video does help a lot. And I hope you have fun trying this one out.